Hello all, let us begin the next session on channel effects. Let us now understand what is this channel noise, intersymbol interference and SNR for quantized pulses is about. So coming to channel noise, we know there are different forms of noise, that is thermal noise, etc. So coming for a thermal noise, if the interference from other users and interference from the circuit switching transients can cause error in detecting the pulse carrying the digital samples, we call such a kind of noise as thermal noise. Or basically whenever a circuit gets heated up due to some errors that we are trying to give from the input, when we supply the source or when we supply with the power, if the circuits get heated up, which means there is some noise, so that kind of noise we call it as, or when that noise is generated in the form of heat, we call it as a thermal noise. Channel induced errors can degrade the reconstructed signal quality quite quickly, which means the degradation of the output signal quality is very much high whenever we are trying to have the channel induced errors. So this kind of process of getting the degraded output signal, we call it as threshold effect. If the noise, if the channel noise which we are talking of, if it is very small, there will be no problem in detecting the presence of the waveforms. But if this small, if this noise itself is very dominant over the signal or over the analog waveform or over the digital waveforms, then it is quite difficult for us also to reconstruct back the original signal. Thus small noise does not corrupt the reconstruction of the signal. Instead, the only noise present in the reconstruction is the quantization noise, which means whenever I have a quantization noise, this is going to actually create a troublesome for us in reconstructing the original signal. If the channel noise is larger enough, it affects our ability to detect the original analog waveform or the digital waveform. The resulting detection error causes reconstruction errors. A large difference in behavior can occur for every small changes in the channel noise. So channel noise, it has to be as minimal as possible. If it is minimal, for us reconstruction is easy, and if this channel noise is larger, for us the reconstruction of the signal is going to be quite difficult. So that's about the channel noise. The next is intersymbol interference. If the channel is always band limited, a band limited channel means what is, it can disperse or either can spread the pulse waveform passing through it. When the channel bandwidth is much greater than the pulse bandwidth, which means the channel capacity is higher than that of the capacity than the capacity of the pulse waveform which is traveling through it. So it can actually spread out that pulse waveform and can transmit that particular pulse. Now, when the channel bandwidth is close to the signal bandwidth, which means the channel capacity is again same as that of the capacity of the pulse waveform. So what will happen to this signal, or when channel bandwidth is close to the signal bandwidth, the spreading will exceed a symbol duration and cause signal pulses to overlap. So what it can do is, it is actually going to spread the signal. This spreading of the signal is going to overlap with the other pulses which are traveling along with in the same channel, will exceed a symbol duration and can cause the signal pulses to overlap. This overlapping we call it as intersymbol interference, or which is also in short used as ISI. So intersymbol interference is spreading of the, if whenever I have a channel bandwidth to be almost equal to that of the signal bandwidth, the spreading of the signal is going to happen, which will cause the overlapping of some of the symbols at different symbol durations. So this overlapping of the pulses, we call it as inter-symbol interference. Symbols are getting interfered with each other. So this we are going to term it as ISI. So whenever I have like any other source of interference, ISI is also going to cause the system degradation, that is, it is going to cause higher error rates. How it is going to cause higher error rates is, it is particularly going to this kind of information, it will actually raise the signal power to overcome the interference. So in order to defend of that overlapping of the symbols, it is actually going to raise the signal power, which will not always improve the error performance. Instead, it is going to again create the other set of noise like channel noise, like thermal noise. Such kind of things can come up, or it can be generated. And whenever we reconstruct the signal with the presence of this inter-symbol interference, whatever the original analog signal is going to be present, we are going to detect that analog signal in a wrong way. So the sample may be different, the symbol may be different, and due to this overlapping of the symbol amplitude or the symbol sample spacing can get overlapped, can actually change the reconstruction of the analog signal. So that is where this inter-symbol interference is going to affect the reconstruction of the signal. So this is again one more type of corruption which we have. So the next channel effect is signal to noise ratio for quantized pulses. So we can see that in this particular figure there are L linear levels. So there are L linear levels which is given as L levels here. So this L levels. So L levels of a linear quantizer for an analog signal with a peak to peak voltage of VPP. So the peak to peak voltage we are trying to represent it as VPP. And then whenever I want to look for what is this VPP, I can see there is minus VP here and there is plus VP here. So considering the peak to peak voltage, VPP would be given as 2 times VP, that is VP minus VP will be 2 times VP voltage. The quantized pulses will have both positive and negative values as it is shown in the figure. The step size between the quantization levels, we call it as quantile interval, which is denoted by Q. So the step size that it is having here, we are going to denote this as Q, which is actually called as quantile level, quantile interval. And when this quantizer is when the quantization levels are uniformly distributed over the full range, the quantizer is called as an uniform quantizer, or it is also called as a linear quantizer, which means these quantile levels or these step sizes of the quantizer should be always same. If that is there, we are going to call that as an uniform quantizer, or it is also called as linear quantizer. Now here we can see that each sample value of the analog waveform is approximated to a quantized pulse. The approximation will result in an error not much greater than Q by 2. Any error which is going to present between these two levels is always going to be minus, the errors is always going to be Q by 2. It cannot exceed greater than this. So in the positive direction it is plus, here it is plus Q by 2, and on the other side in the negative axis it is going to be minus Q by 2. So this error is going to be present and it is never going to exceed this Q by 2. So which means the degradation of the signal due to this quantization is limited to a half of quantile interval. So it is going to be half of the step size that we have chosen in the quantization levels. So it is going to be half of that quantile interval, which is plus or minus q by 2. Now let us understand or now let us consider a quantization error, which is E. Let us assume that the quantization error is represented as E is uniformly distributed over a single quantile interval q wide. So there is a error which is present over a single step that is available in the quantization level. The quantizer error variance, we can write it as sigma square to be equal to minus q by 2 to plus q by 2. So we are telling that error is present well within the quantile level. So that is why we are trying to integrate it from minus q by 2 to plus q by 2 e square p of e dE. So what is this p of e? P of e is nothing but it is 1 by q, which is the uniform probability density function of the quantization error. So it is the density function of the quantization error, which is to be equal to 1 by q. Now what would be the variance if I try to find? It is going to be q square by 12. Then with this, by considering this variance sigma square, which corresponds to the average quantization noise power, if I try to find the peak power of the analog signal, we are trying by considering r to be equal to 1, by normalizing the value of r to be equal to 1, we can get the peak power value as Vpp by 2 whole square. Vpp by 2 whole square, Vpp is nothing but L into Q by 2 whole square. So L square Q square by 4, where what is this L? L we know it is the quantization levels, and from the above two equations, from this equations of the variance, we can also yield, or we can come to the conclusion of finding the ratio of peak signal power to the average quantization noise power. Signal power to the average quantization noise power. We can actually find these two components by considering these two quantities that we have already calculated, assuming that there are no errors due to ISI or channel noise. This error is due to the quantized pulses alone, but not due to the ISI or channel noise. Assuming these kinds of things, we can actually find peak signal power to average quantization noise power, which is given as signal is how much? Signal is what we got it as L square Q square by 4 divided by noise is that in the form of variance, which is Q square by 12. So we are going to get the value as 3 L square. When we look at this particular S by n of the quantized value, it improves as a function of the number of quantization levels squared. If I try to keep on squaring the quantization levels, if I keep on increasing the quantization levels, then I can say the signal power is going to get improved than the noise power. Then the signal in limit. One more point to be made here is if the limit L is tending to infinity, if L is tending to infinity, the signal is almost trying to approach the pulse amplitude modulated format, and the signal to quantization noise ratio is infinite. If L is trying to tend to infinity, S by n to Q is also tending to be infinity. If this is also infinity, in other words, it tells that there are infinite number of quantization levels and there is zero quantization noise. So this case does not exist, but the extreme case which is possible is L tending to infinity. So that's about the different noise due to the channel effects, which is what we have studied is the channel noise, and then the intersymbol interference, and then signal to noise ratio of quantized pulses. Thank you. Happy learning.